Did you know that only 30% of the STEM students in India have ever interacted with a scientist in person? Did you know that STEM students considers India's performance in space to be the best, while in basic research to be among the worst? Good morning, everyone. My name is Avinash Kohli, and I'm here to present the insights from our first of its kind survey on scientific awareness in India, which we call at National Survey on Scientific Awareness and Engagement, or the Science Perception Survey. As part of this presentation, we'll be exploring how interest in science develops, what are the challenges that the STEM students face as far as accessing research opportunities is concerned, and what this means for the future of science and technology for our country. We conducted this online survey. It is a pan-India survey among STEM undergraduate students, comprising of both engineering and technology and sciences, across 4 key sections. The section 1 was general interest in science. Section 2 was exposure to scientific research. Section 3 was perception of science and technology. And 4th was science literacy. This diagram particularly shows that how general interest in a STEM student in India develops. What are the kind of exposure that a STEM students in generally in India gets? How he or she perceive the science and technology ecosystems in India? And what is the science literacy of our STEM students in our country? Now coming to the first section, which is general interest in science. The first graph here that you see clearly highlights the importance of teacher sparking interest in science and technology, with 86% of the students citing them as a high to moderate influence on them. Interestingly, if you see the graph, while personal curiosity and media also rank high, peers have the least impact at just 72%. We also see a significant percentage of cross interest in science. So you see sciences students are interested in technology, technology students are interested in sciences. Similarly, we also see that students generally are more interested in watching science-based movies vis-a-vis reading science-based books. Then the next section is exposure to scientific researchers, scientists and researchers. Here, the first graph that you see here clearly highlights the limited exposures of STEM students to scientists, with only 30% have ever interacted with a scientist, as I mentioned in my opening remark, and even a lower 20% with a foreign scientist. Interestingly, science students report significantly higher exposure compared to engineering and technologies, highlighting a disparity in access to research in engagement opportunities. Then exposure to scientific research. You see the first graph here on the left side of the slide. Only 33% of STEM undergrads have undertaken research work as part of their curriculum or internship, with sciences students showing almost double the percentage than engineering and technology as far as the participation is concerned in research work. 37% of the students have read a peer-reviewed scientific paper, with sciences students showing 46% compared to engineering and technology showing 28%. Access to scientific journal or papers is challenging, as only 30% of STEM undergrads find it easy to obtain them. By the way, the government of India has recently been introduced ONOS, One Nation, One Subscription scheme, which is going to revolutionize the academic research by providing access to scientific journals, international scholarly journals for researchers and academicians in India. So it is hitting the nail. The next section is perception of science and technology. Here you see approximately 60% of the respondents trust information from Indian scientists and organization. Again, with sciences students showing higher level of trust than engineering technology. Around 70% of the respondents believe that scientific advancements significantly or moderately impact their lives, daily lives, highlighting a public recognition of science's relevance. This is something that I've already mentioned in my opening remarks, that space research is rated as the highest among all these categories, research areas, technology areas, while basic research, earth/environmental sciences is among the lowest. Then the final section is science literacy. The idea behind this was to understand the public awareness and knowledge about current scientific advancements. We recorded the responses for each of these statements that are mentioned here, asking if they believed it to be correct based on scientific evidence or not. We explored 3 themes here. One was pseudoscience that you see on the slide right now, then scientific evidence, and popular science. The following tables that you see in this slide shows the recorded correct incorrect, and do not row responses. As you see, only 35 to 45% of the respondents correctly identify pseudoscience claims, indicating gaps in basic science literacy. Similarly, misconceptions like there is little or no proof for the theory of evolution, though around 56% correctly reject the claim that evolution lacks proof, nearly a quarter still believe it to be true. Then we come down to the popular science theme under science literacy. You see here around 56% correctly reject the claim that AI can do everything that humans can. But if we correct for optimism bias here and see both the statements together, we see only 23% of the people have answered this correctly. To summarize all of the science literacy here, we see around 35 to 45% correctly answer pseudoscience questions, 40 to 55 for popular science questions, but correcting for optimism reduces it to just 25%. Now, what are the key takeaways from here? Interest in science is multidisciplinary and driven by good teachers with enthusiasm for science-based themes / books. Trust in Indian scientists is high at 58 to 72%, but exposure to foreign scientists is low at 20 to 30%. Engagement with R&D, including projects and paper, remain low at around 28 to 33%. Finally, Indian R&D is rated highest in space research, but lowest in earth / environmental sciences. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the festival for the next 2 days.